ready, Jane?
I'm ready.
Okay.
응답하라 여친. 고 to the to the 실.
팍 to the 경 to the 주. We're such cheese balls. It's our very first episode, Jane.
We're finally doing this.
Woo, woo, woo.
Finally, after talking about it for 2 weeks.
Yes. And actually, that's not that long.
No.
Some people talk about doing podcasts or shows for like years before they actually. And we were just like, let's go.
Yeah. It came together so fast. And we'd never be here if I was doing it alone. So thank you.
We are two peas in the pod. Is that a thing? That's a thing. That's a total thing. How is it to be an anchor to all of a sudden doing podcasts?
My professional background was I worked in journalism for about 6 years. This was like pre-kids to just after I had my second child. And then I did everything. I wore all the hats. I was a general assignment reporter and news anchor, and I worked all over. I worked in upstate New York in a
front
small
of the camera,
market,
back
front
of the
camera.
Did the whole thing.
While I was doing front of the camera, like in a small market, you had to do everything. And this was the height of the recession. So all the jobs that I was applying for, there were lots of terms like a multimedia journalist or one-man band where you're expected to do all the shooting, writing, editing.
Writing and editing, all of it.
And then doing the on-camera stuff
Ooh.
by yourself. So that was like a trial by fire kind of experience.
Wow.
And then I worked in Flint, Michigan, and then
Flint,
Detroit.
Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been heavy coverage with the water crisis.
Yeah,
Did I get that right?
Yes,
I
you
know
did.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I remember covering the beginnings of the water crisis. It wasn't at crisis then.
Oh, wow.
I was covering those city council meetings where the city of Flint was trying to move to their own water source because they had been purchasing water through Detroit.
You were at the beginning
and
of
so all those discussions and debates on should we not, we're getting price gouged. We have this wonderful resource of the Flint River by us. Why don't we leverage this? And then just the fallout and lack of accountability. And I was working in Detroit at the time when all of this came to light. Finally. And then finally the nation was paying attention. And it was really, I remember, I think I told you, I remember going to those bottled water drives. It was almost on a daily, weekly basis where community organizations had to rally to provide clean bottled water for everybody's needs, like drinking, bathing, everything. So I went from that to, that being my daily life to then after I had my second child and the schedule was really taxing, I decided to get a normal office job, and then I worked in communications at a healthcare system.
Wow.
So hospital system. And then I did that for several years before we moved to Seattle, right before the pandemic. And then I decided to be a stay-at-home mom for the time being.
Wow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've just been schlepping it as a comic. Working for drink tickets. Before that, I was a photographer, had my own photography business, but I got super burnt out because I never wanted to, after doing, I don't know, probably 10 years of photography and portrait work, I just didn't want to hold a camera anymore.
I get it.
And I was like, I need to do something different. And then I stumbled into comedy after getting rejected from 2 different radio shows. So yeah, then that's how I found my way into comedy. But then came pandemic and I couldn't get any stage time. I ended up on TikTok, which I thought was a joke at my age. Remember?
Yes.
You
I know.
I remember when I first met you, you were like, I'm embarrassed to tell people I'm on TikTok. And I'm
I
like,
still am.
Girl, how are you going to be embarrassed at 3.4 million followers? 3.4, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Anyways, but we became friends. We're both in Seattle. And I remember, did I reach out to you?
I think it was mutual. I think I probably said we need to get together because things were opening up and we started feeling more comfortable.
I'm in Seattle.
Yeah.
But you know how people say that shit?
Yes.
you're from California, so people
Uh-huh.
say that shit. Like, what? So I was like, you know what? This bitch lying. She don't really want to hang out with me. So I like wrote to him like, you know what? But I like to play along,
Yeah.
like we are.
Oh, that's what you're doing to me, testing me a little bit.
I was like,
yeah,
because usually I've had people reach out and I'll be like, oh yeah, name a time and place,
sure.
and then nothing,
And then
I'm
they
like,
chicken out.
yeah. But when I did that with you, you were like, yeah, when? I was like, come over to my house, and you're like, okay. I was like, oh my god, this bitch is gonna come to my house.
That's my favorite thing when people invite me to their house.
And you
my favorite
came,
thing.
and that shook me because we were just like strangers.
I loved it because I think that was the perfect way to make a personal, first meeting after just
Yeah.
interacting on social media. And then because it was so casual and welcoming, like bring the kids, like we're just going to hang out in the backyard.
Just hanging out in the backyard. Our
Mhm.
kids were running around, and we are just shooting the breeze. And
Mhm.
that was what, over 2 years ago? Or-
2 summers ago already.
That was I in a cast?
We go way back.
Yeah, we formed.
You
so
were in a
people-
cast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in a cast.
Yeah.
I had tore my something Achilles.
Yeah. Like playing tennis, and you
Ruptured.
were wearing these fabulous
Yeah.
tie-dye croc platforms.
'Cause
That after I had to Google tie-dye croc platform.
it's literally 5 inches, and the first it was because the cast made it so thick on one leg, and I was like, oh my god, I can't. These legs are on, and I can't wear those because it's too high.
They didn't look that high.
It's like
but
5 inches.
Yeah.
They're literally platforms, and you met me
Mhm.
with one leg croc,
Yeah.
and and you were like, this is great, and I was like, oh my god, this bitch is for real.
Yeah. And the kids loved it. They loved your
kids-
house. They think it's the
In
wilderness.
the woods. Deep in the woods. Most my BIPOC friends were like, this is too deep, Ellen.
Yeah.
You had that look. You're like, wow.
Wow.
This
This
is
is your
far.
view. It's like trees.
It's-
I mean, it's so peaceful. It's so nice.
Sometimes
And-
people say like, Ellen, I never imagined you live in a house like this. I said, oh, like a white people's house? Because it does look like Hansel and Gretel's house.
It
Is
does.
it Gretel?
Uh-huh,
Hansel
uh-huh.
and Gretel. That's
Uh-huh.
a thing. Okay.
My house looks like Peppa Pig's house. It's like a stucco Tudor, very pointy at the top, and
I should have, when I rolled up to yours, I was like, done the Peppa Pig. Hey, it's Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
it's
George.
Yeah.
Who's George?
George is her brother.
Oh, okay.
George
I know
Pig
shit.
and Peppa. Yeah. That was the
But-
first thing my mom said when I showed her the picture. I said, "This is the house that we bought." She's like, "It looks like Peppa Pig's house."
Did you think that before she said that?
No.
Wow. Korean
I was like,
people.
wow, I know.
They get right to the point with their bluntness.
They really
Speaking
do.
of, so when I told my husband, and our husbands have met, our families have done our family
Yes.
dates together
Yes.
because we're friends in real life, believe it or not.
Mhm.
But my husband did say, like, oh, well, when you have your first episode, you are going to have to discuss how the two of you came together. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, on paper, it's not two people you would think would come together to do any kind of show.
Mhm.
And I was like, excuse
Yeah.
me, you're Korean American.
Uh-huh.
I'm Korean American.
Uh-huh.
You're a mom of 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm a mom of 2
Yeah.
kids. We both in Washington. Like,
That's more than enough in Seattle to find a connection. let me tell you,
exactly.
right?
In a city of Seattle Freeze.
Yes.
That's, explain Seattle Freeze, Jane.
Seattle Freeze, as it was explained to me before we moved
Oh,
here.
that's right. You're not native here.
No, I grew up in LA
Yeah.
area, LA suburb, and then we lived in Michigan for a long time.
That's right.
While my husband was in grad school and I was working, and then our kids were born there, and we were living in the Ann Arbor area, and we had friends who were Seattleites and were doing a brief stint in Ann Arbor.
Oh,
for medical
you're a total
training.
transplant then.
Mm-hmm.
You had no family here.
No family here. So this was
Oh.
kind of our second place living as a family with no relatives nearby. So for me, it really had to make sense for us because I
Wow,
said,
that's
why
a
would we
big
move to another
move.
state where we have no family support?
Yeah, and it takes a village.
Yeah. And speaking of that village, my friends who were Seattleites in Michigan with us at the time said, when you go to Seattle, don't be surprised by the Seattle Freeze. It's a real thing.
It's totally a real
It's
thing.
like when you make plans, people will be so flippant to say, yeah, we'll hang out, and then it will never
Never
happen.
hear from them.
They'll flake or something will come up, and And it's just in general, do not expect that kind of Midwestern
Exactly. Like even in the
friendliness.
streets. Yeah.
Yes.
Like when you're walking and you are clearly not from here, people here are just like, oh, get out my way.
A funny story about that. I remember last summer, maybe 2 summers ago, we were walking in our neighborhood from the school back home, and I was walking with my kids. We passed a woman, a neighbor with her dog, and she was wearing sunglasses. And my kids are very friendly.
Yes,
said,
they are.
hello. And then she walked right past us, and my son got this confused look on his head, on his face, and then he turns around.
To people interacting.
Yeah, he turns around to me, and he's like, wait, was she blind? 'Cause that's the only way he could make sense of the fact that she didn't reply to him. And I said, Ellen, no, it's just unfriendly. I said, even if she were blind, she might have had hearing. You know?
Yeah. You blind.
So it's
I
funny. That's the vibe.
Childhood innocence. Like, oh, it can't be that this
can't
person
be.
is
Why
an
would they
asshole?
not want to talk to me or say hi?
Nope, that's a Seattle asshole. Well, when my husband did ask, like, you guys don't make sense. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I knew exactly what he was talking about. Because you're classy.
No.
I'm trashy. You're a workaholic.
I'm not. I'm really not.
I'm an alcoholic. You're wholesome. I'm whoresome. And I mean like attention-seeking whore, not in the streets.
Sure.
Although, sorry, I'm a mother. Mothers don't say whoresome.
These are all surface level things.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that by doing this and talking and we'll peel back the layers.
Yeah. Well, we already know, like, I mean, because we're friends, we've already gotten to our values about what's important to us. At the end of the day, is like our family, our kids.
Yeah.
Jane, I know for a fact, I don't know if you can say this. Well, you probably could say this, but I know for a fact I would die for my child.
Oh, 100%.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I wanted to be sure, but I wasn't sure until I remember a day I made a horrible parking choice and I was parked next to these like rocks. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be a tricky situation to get out. And this was Gavin. Gavin was only like, he was a fat baby. Fat babies are the best. I'm not fat shaming.
I had 2
fat
chunks.
babies are the best.
Yeah.
Roly-poly for days. And I went to grab him and I miscalculated how heavy he was. And I fell backwards and I was like, we were going down, Jane. And in that moment, I chose to shield him with myself. And I was like, oh, I am that mom that would die for... I didn't die, but...
Yeah. That would.
It felt close
came
to
down
death,
to it.
and I was ready. I was like, I'm going to take on these rocks. Luckily, I landed on the dirt, but alcoholic, but still save a child.
Exactly.
And that's what binds us.
Yes.
I know you would, too, save your child.
I mean, I know that because yesterday we went to go eat seolleongtang. One of our favorite things to eat.
Seolleongtang.
Oxtail
bone soup.
Beef bone soup.
That's my favorite hangover soup.
Oh, it's the best. But we had to go to a trip, like a rare weeknight after dinner trip to H Mart because I had run out of everything. But we said, let's get seolleongtang on the way to make it worth it. We live about 30 minutes away from the big H Mart. So it really has to be, we do big hauls.
One in Linwood.
The one in Linwood.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
We typically order 4 seolleongtangs for the 4 of us, but it's a little much.
Yeah.
So yesterday we said, let's do 3.
And can split.
Yes,
okay.
But my daughter, she needed more rice, and I wasn't done with my meal yet. And without missing a beat, when she said, can I have more rice? I said yes, and I gave her mine. I said, this is so sacrificial. And I would do this every time.
Okay, girl, I nearly died on a pile of rocks, and you talking about giving a bowl of rice?
That's how I know. That's how I mean, we
would go hungry, is what you're saying.
Yes, I would go hungry.
Okay, respect.
Eventually, if you go
rice
hungry
is hard
enough,
to
you would
give up.
die.
Are you sure you don't want 깍두기 먹어? 깍두기.
Oh, I gave her my kaktugi too.
You have some of these radish kimchi. Why you want my rice?
I know.
Rice is life.
She'll eat all of it. She takes everything.
You're right. That is.
You know, kids, they take and take and take.
They take, Jen, and we have to put our foots down.
Yeah.
Well, we had a great time coming up with our names.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we were like, let's use ChatGPT. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Or was it GPI?
GPT.
What does GPT stand for?
I don't know.
General
Processing
Technology.
That's what we're going with.
I bet that's it. Anyways, it could be wrong, but whatever. So I had my husband enter what would two Korean American women.
It was a very detailed
Oh yeah,
prompt.
read the thing.
Help me
He's
come
such a
up with a
nerd.
good, compelling, and fun name of a podcast that I'll be hosting with a friend. Ask me questions that will help you come up with the name. So
He wrote all that shit.
Yes.
That's not me.
ChatGPT said, sure, I'd be happy to help you come up with the name. To get started, could you provide some more information about the podcast? Knowing the theme or subject can help me generate
with the workaholic. Sorry.
more relevant and compelling name ideas. So then your husband says the podcast will be hosted by two Korean American moms. Using Korean in the name would be great. We'd be talking about Korean American issues, family, gossip, and pop culture. We are two TikTok famous creators. The podcast.
I meant just you. TikTok famous.
You
and
are
a half.
famous in your
TikTok famous and a half.
no.
2.5 men.
People know who you are. The podcast will be fun, relatable, and deeply emotional at times.
Oh.
So I think he captured it. He really captured what I hope will be the essence of.
Yes.
Yeah, but ChatGPT didn't quite get it.
Well, tell us the names.
Number 1, Kimchi Chronicles. That's
That's
been done already.
Okay, I will say I had a different podcast just where I read a book.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Kimchi Slaps by your Fanyani.
Oh, that was
Okay,
your
okay.
podcast.
That was
yes,
mine.
I
It did have kimchi
I have
in
yet
it.
to listen to it.
Oh, don't listen to it. It's fine. Listen to this one. Next one.
K-mom chit chat, parenting, pop culture, and more. Boring.
Ew.
Boring.
Eh.
TikTok talk, Korean American mom
TikTok.
edition.
TikTok tteokbokki.
Oh, that would have been TikTok-bokki.
TikTok
Oh,
tteokbokki.
TikTok-bokki.
Rice cakes. You guys know. If you know Korean shit, you know.
Han mom connection, but I read it as Han mom, like one body.
Hanmom.
Han mom.
Where we come together and merge. Okay. Hanmom. Okay.
Soul sisters.
Ugh. What was it?
Hey, sister, soul
Hey,
sister.
sister, soul sister.
They all have like
Sorry, that's not okay. Whatever.
this one. This one, my best friend was like, "Oh, I like that."
Oh, well, let's.
Mommy mingle. Korean American mom edition.
What kind of friend is this?
This is my
Drop
this
her.
is my friend.
Oh,
No, I
sorry.
cannot because she gets all the credit for me being on TikTok to begin with.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
she was-
She liked that.
She liked
Your
that.
friend has
Mhm,
questionable taste.
mhm.
Sorry, mingle mom. Is her name Min?
No,
Oh, that would be the only reason that makes sense.
that would make sense if
Yeah.
one of us were men.
Yeah.
K-Fam Chronicles, Navigating Parenthood and Beyond. Yeah.
No, thank you. Too much.
This is probably our favorite. Raising gochu babies.
I feel like people who would listen to us probably are into Korean, but still, gochu is like pepper,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also like a very
Double entendre for
childish way to say
yes.
pee pee.
Mm-hmm.
It would be equivalent to pee pee, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be like penis. It would be pee pee.
Yeah, I guess so
Oh.
because it's not the anatomical.
Yeah,
term.
it's literally means pepper.
Yes,
but it's like
yes.
pee pee. Like
Mhm.
와, 저 고추 봐라. Look at that. Pee pee. Who would say that? At the 목욕탕. At the bathhouse?
I guess so.
That could
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next one is K-Mom Confidential, unfiltered story. I
Ew,
know.
Boring. We're way better than that.
I know. And then From Gangnam to America, which is fun. We're not from Gangnam. We're not,
강남. 오빠, 강남 style. You know that Adonis can rap that better than me?
I have to listen to this.
Because so I can rap in Korean.
Uh-huh.
But like when we go to karaoke, I need the subtitles in Korean.
Yes.
But it comes out in English.
Oh, that's so tricky.
Yeah, and
no,
when I
can't
look at
do
it, I
that.
get so confused.
Yes.
But he can read
it makes sense to him, I guess. Because he likes
He's just reading it. He doesn't know what he's saying, but he can read it in English.
And it's like he can perfectly pronounce it and like say it all.
But my brain is like, what is it supposed to say? You know, like, so he can rap in karaoke's in America. I can do it in Korea where it comes out in Korean.
Yeah, I mean, I would be able to do that, but it has to be like half speed.
You mean you could read it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
I mean, I would be able to read the Korean. I wouldn't be able to read the English if it's written out in English.
Yeah,
that's
I was
so
like,
tricky.
this is gibberish to me.
I know,
gibberish. It totally messes up my brain. I'm like, I don't know, because you're busy thinking like, is it supposed to say this? You know?
Yeah.
Anyways,
exactly.
But he owns that song, and then I just dance. Oh, there's that one. And what's the other one? The legs
I just know
show.
this one, and then you know,
sexy lady.
Oh yes, the hip.
That one. Oh my
the
God.
leg.
This couch is like, what are you doing? Anyways, oh, tell us.
I made some kimbap because I was so hungry in the morning, and my kids have been on a kimbap kick for lunch, for school lunches, for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Is
we
it
packed them
because they
Lunchables.
watched Extraordinary Attorney Woo?
They didn't watch it with us.
My kids watched it.
Did they like it?
Now they want kimbap. Wow. They didn't want kimbap before, but they want kimbap now after they watched Extraordinary. Yeah. But you made this.
I watched The Glory. And
with the kids?
No, not with the kids. With my husband. That's not kid material.
Sorry. Yeah, that's...
The main character is Song Ye-kyo.
Oh.
Right? She always eats like this. But she eats it like you have to peel it like this. Because it's a quick food, right?
맞아.
And then it's all sliced. So you can just eat it top down.
Oh, we're doing it Song Ye-kyo style.
She's usually, you know, pensive, deep in thought.
Oh. I'm not. I'm just hungry. 맛있다. So tasty. You made it so good.
I had to go to H Mart. This is why I had to go to H Mart last night.
You're such a good mom.
I ran out of all the ingredients. And rice was bottom of the barrel.
You have ingredients ready to go for kimbap? That's insane. I could never. Wow.
If you have all the ingredients, it's fairly simple. It's as much work as a sandwich, you know?
Oh, the radish you could have for a little bit. Crab, artificial crab you could have.
The hard part is the produce.
The 시금치.
Which they don't taste it. It's mostly just for color and yeah.
Well, it's a great way to say like I got vegetables in my kid. Oh, they take this to school.
They took it to school, and actually Bennett, he's had a new friend every day ask for a taste. So yesterday I packed him, like one of these rolls is like 9 pieces if you take out the ends. And then I put it all in his lunchbox, and then he had like 4 friends eat 1 piece each, and then some of them ate like 2, one of them ate 3, and I said, how many did you eat? And he said, I don't know, maybe like a couple. And I said, was that enough? He's like, probably not. So he said, Mama, can you pack a lot today?
Oh, and how many did you pack him?
I just packed him 2 rolls.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see, how he does. But
this is such a different time. And I know that Asian American people talk a lot about back in our day. You know, my mom would make kimbap. I would hide in the janitor's closet to eat it. I know. And I even hate sharing that story because I feel like we talk about it so much. But at the same time, that was my reality. Like, I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, what are you eating? Now it's all like, ooh, what's that? I mean, I love that we are living
it's so
through the
extreme.
changes.
It's still not just normal. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, it's still not just like, oh, okay, you got kimbap for lunch. It's so great that now it's positive.
Yeah.
But
you're right. It's not just seen as food, even though it clearly is just food. But
and then my daughter trying to educate, right? Because her friend will be like, is that sushi? She says, no, that's kimbap.
Oh, that's the worst. You should teach your beautiful Ruby to be like, that's offensive. You're ignoramus. It's kimbap. There's nothing raw about it.
I remember growing up in Korean church, we had church retreats. And
Oh,
the
yeah, we grew up
parents
church.
would give us trays of kimbap. And this retreat venue one year said, you can't have this in the fridge. It's raw.
Oh, the
and
venue.
it's a hazard. And we said, this is kimbap.
It's all cooked.
It's all cooked. They're like, no, we're just not comfortable having it there. We
This
had to
brings
throw
up
it
a-
all out.
Okay. So that just triggered a memory. I just recently went to white people's house for dinner.
Did they feed you enough?
Well, yes, only because there was another Asian person that was cooking all the food, which I was like, what is this situation? But the food was so good.
Okay.
Right? Like, so it was like the couple that had the house, and then there was another couple that was visiting, and we got invited, and the person cooking was an Asian mama, and she was cooking it up, right? She cooked these like giant grilled prawns, right? And I was like, eating it. But then I was like, I don't know. You know how like when you first meet people, you don't want to seem savage? Even me, I have manners. So I held back, even though I wanted to eat more.
Yeah.
Common problem I have. Anyways, I was like trying to be like mindful. And then this man thought we were all done eating. And he's like throwing it all like giant prawns, tiger prawns.
Like good, just leftover.
We just
but
ate it. And then I was like, later I was like, oh, can I have more rice? Like, oh, the rice is gone. All trash. I couldn't stop thinking about those tiger prawns till next day.
Oh my gosh.
And the first thing I said to my husband when I woke up was like, can you believe he just threw those tiger prawns away? That to me was like a whole another ass meal.
Yes.
Not ass meal, but
yeah,
whole
other meal. Yeah.
But I was like, this is how we're different.
And you could stretch it, right?
Away.
If you have like a few prawns, you could stretch it, peel it, chop it up, make shrimp fried rice, right? Or put it in like a seafood pancake and repurpose.
I could never. I at first I thought when he was over the garbage throwing, I was like, oh, he must just be throwing like he doesn't want the garnish. Horror. The look. I was so stunned. Like the woman was too stunned to speak. That was me. Travesty. This is why I'm not comfortable at white people's houses. Because you don't know what they're thinking. Clearly.
I don't feel comfortable to eat.
Because
I just look at the food and I just do a mental calculation. That's not enough for the number of bodies here.
Or my husband and I, we do this thing like, what kind of white people are these white people? Like, oh, the ones that will put out the Lunchables. Not the good shit. I don't mind good charcuterie, but it better be good shit. Not like Kraft cheese, leftover
pepperoni,
from your kids' lunches.
Hormel pepperoni.
Yeah, I'm like, excuse me, Ritz crackers. Like, listen, nothing against Ritz crackers, but that's not charcuterie crackers, okay? If we're going into that situation, I'm like, we gotta eat before we go.
Yeah,
that's how we do it. We gotta feed ourselves.
Yep,
nourish our souls before we get to the white people's houses.
Or kids' birthday party.
Oh,
you don't know what.
Even my own Asian kids, they're like, they're not gonna have real food. They hate pizza.
What do you guys serve at birthday party?
Us, when we do birthday parties, we're a feast. So, my husband's Filipino. My mother-in-law cooks lumpia, the pancit with all the. So it's,
oh my gosh,
we do the full entrees.
Yeah,
and I do. If she's making pancit, I'm not gonna make japchae because it's redundant, the noodle dish. But I'll make. Oh, they love spam masubis.
Love spam masubis.
So spam
that's a perfect birthday party food. I'm gonna do that next time.
Spam masubis. We gotta do meat heavy. Ribs. Lechon. A whole ass pig.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I'm like. One time, there was a white kid. There was a white kid in the so we're doing photos and shit, right? There's a white kid in the front. I'm not even shitting you, Jane. Every single photo at my, I believe was then 8-year-old photo. This white kid in the front.
Oh,
every single photo.
No.
He's plugged his nose, and I'm like, I can't be mad at a kid, right? Like it's not like. And I was like, every single photo. But now you have Photoshop ChatGPT. You could be like, hey, Photoshop, take out that white kid plugging up his nose. They do a really good job.
Can they make it so
solutions.
that he's not plugging his nose and?
Oh, I was just thinking,
just take him
remove
out
the
of
whole kid altogether. Get him out of my
erase
party.
him.
Make me pretend that he was never there.
Uninvite him.
Uninvite him after the fact. Yeah. So that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
How do you do your birthday parties?
Well, so we did it at Arena Sports this
Oh,
year.
yeah. Now they
right?
want to do stuff. That's
Because
right.
it's just so much easier.
It is.
And we can't have, our place is just not big enough to have a
Feast
bunch of
is
kids
hard.
running around.
Yeah.
But what makes it hard is you got to feed all these people. And when we have birthday parties, we know the whole families are coming. And we expect that to happen.
Yes.
So you order so much food.
What do you order?
We ordered everything. Pizza, wings, salads, tater tots, everything.
Ooh,
and then we had
tater
like
tots is a good
boxes
one.
and boxes of food left over that we were
Yes,
trying
that
to
you can take
yeah,
home. That's
giving
the
it to
gift.
people. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the gift.
My kids will be like, "Where's our giveaway bags?"
Goodie bag.
I'm like,
You're like
the
"Gift
food. They're like, "Oh, Mom, that's not fun. I'm not fun."
It's the
Food.
best. It's the best when
Mhm.
you're a mom, right? And especially if it's a weekend birthday party and there's food left over. I'm like, great. This is going to be kids' lunch.
You know, the white people whose house I went to, I brought these bows
Oh,
as gifts.
yum.
Yeah. But now I can't help but think that they probably just threw it away. That kills me. What keeps me up at night?
Mhm.
People throwing away food.
Mhm.
My food.
Mhm.
But it happens. So my husband
Mhm.
did ask me
Mhm.
if I asked you if you're really okay doing a show with me. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Of course he's okay.
He's so
Dude.
considerate.
Of you? He's my husband. He should be considerate of me. Did you feel considerate just then?
I did feel considerate.
I know, but of me, I was like,
Not because I had any qualms. No.
but then it got me thinking,
Mhm.
like, yeah, and then I did ask you, and did it never cross your mind? Because let's be honest, we're
Mhm.
completely different type of content creators.
Mhm.
And I really was surprised that you wanted to like actually sync up and meet up when we first did.
Really?
Yeah, like, okay, listen.
You must have been burned in the past.
I have met people that were like, I want to meet you. And then been like, oh, I'm too busy. And I'm like, girl, you reached out to me in the beginning, whatever. But I got jaded quick.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are really fixated on like TikTok numbers.
That
and
always surprises me. That always surprises
have
me.
you
Maybe
met-
because
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know
I
it.
have met.
yeah.
Mhm, because it's never something that I fixated on or wanted to fixate
You
on.
definitely, and you
And-
shocked me with that because when I met you and I mentioned that you're like,
Mhm.
oh, then you know people say that like
Mhm.
I don't think about it,
Yeah.
but like 2.5, you know what I mean? But you genuinely were like, I don't even talk about that, and I don't even think about it, and
Mhm.
I believed you, and I really sensed there's this like connection.
Mm-hmm.
And what really struck me with you was your content with your kids that really like spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it was.
Yeah, I mean, this was completely accidental for me. I mean, I mentioned my best friend. Her name is Julie. She lives in LA. We were friends. We've been friends since 7th grade.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
ever since I moved for grad school, moved out of LA, I haven't lived in California since 2008.
Okay.
So since then, we have like our friendship is like long distance, and so we had.
Would you say she's like your bestie?
She's one of two of my besties.
Okay.
Yeah. And during the pandemic, I saw early quarantine days, she was doing funny TikTok dances.
Oh, so you started during COVID too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I started March 2020, right when we were on lockdown. And she was just doing these silly dance trends. I mean, they weren't silly, but like little, 15-second clips.
I thought TikTok was just dumb dances.
Just
that's how I started.
That's
too.
what I thought too, like mini music videos,
Yeah.
And she was posting them and sharing them on her Instagram stories, and I just asked her like, "That's so funny! Like, what are you doing?" And I want to do that, or should I try? And she said, yeah, let me send you like dance trends or video. And all of this is language that I had to learn from her, like trending. And then you want to get on the For You. I was like, why would I make my account public? She's like, you want people to see it. And I said, why would you want people to see it? And that's how you grow. I'm like, well, why? All of this was new to me.
And did she grow as big as you?
No, because she is an actual working person.
That's usually my life.
Quarantine actually ended for her at some point.
And she had to go back to work.
Yes,
and
she
do
went back to work and
shit.
yes. So this was for her like a very idyllic time where she was just doing this for the pure enjoyment of it.
But
and
do you
I
have friends that ever
too.
get jealous of like, kind of like? I mean, obviously
Probably.
this friend didn't get jealous of you.
No,
They were happy for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would say jealousy, if anything, maybe came from people who were trying to do what I was doing. And for me, it didn't start out as an intentional, like, I'm going to build a platform. And I stumbled on it, truly. When I saw it snowballing or becoming something or experiencing virality, it was it came in spurts. I think. Yeah. And then there were probably some like relatable mom kind of things that had,
But your first viral video probably was a dance.
I don't think so.
Well, really?
It was actually my first very mega viral video. Probably the only one to date was like a candid moment where I just turned the camera on because my kids were bombarding me with mommy at the dinner table.
Oh, that Family Guy, like mommy, mama, that one.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm just trying to eat my kimchi jjigae, and my husband.
That was real. You were just trying to record.
So I just was like, I'm gonna set this up, right? And then Bennett was playing along a little bit, like he like kicked it up a notch a little bit, where he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be even extra more annoying. But the premise of that was we're eating dinner. This was post-pandemic, not post-pandemic. We're still in it, but post-quarantine. My husband was back to work, his normal schedule. So he comes home from work. I've been at home all day with the kids because at this time we were in remote learning, right? Nobody was doing school in person, not in our area anyway. So I finally sit down at the dinner table, which at that time, my routine was once I put dinner at the table, I am out. I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
Nobody talked to me. I'm eating. And you got the other parent here. So you talk to him if you need anything.
I remember that video. I remember your face. You were just... You
trying to keep it together.
Good. I don't even try to hide it. I don't have the energy to hide it. But you maintain...
I'm also aware, like, for me, it's not a hidden camera, right? I'm also aware, like, oh, I'm going to try to capture this.
Yeah, that's
true. So I, and then at the end, this was unexpected. My son goes, are you making a TikTok? Because he notices the camera. And then I lose my poker face and I just start cracking up. That's where the video ends.
Wow.
So I don't know what caption I put on there. And then I just uploaded it. And then I washed up, did shower and whatever. Yeah.
That was,
and then
but that was
video
totally
was going
unintentional.
Crazy, completely unintentional.
Those are the best.
Yeah, and so that probably started me on, okay, like maybe I have something. During the pandemic, there were lots of funny moments that were happening that I was certain other families were also experiencing, like all the mishaps of like all the tech mishaps, right?
Surviving,
like not being on mute, and then them hearing me go bathroom, or like bringing the iPad in when I'm like not, fully dressed, things like that, right? So then I started doing lots of kind of mom moments or skits and then I sprinkled in there, just because it was something that we were experiencing, what it's like to try to give these kids an awareness of who they are, of their heritage. So it was like little bits of like, hey, kids, do you guys want to do a video of me teaching you guys a Korean phrase?
Yeah. But isn't that surreal that we are living at a
Mm-hmm.
time, because when we were little, nobody had that kind of curiosity for us, for our language, for our foods,
You also didn't get that window where you as a viewer who had nothing to do, an outsider, could just be fly on the wall and look at it without being an active participant.
Yeah.
So I think that was maybe a huge factor too, in why that kind of content was successful or viral, or there was a lot of positive and negative feedback. But
But isn't it weird? It feels like kind of like you're in Mean Girls. You're Lindsay Lohan. You started out like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't belong in this school. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, we're like popular. It's such a weird thing to experience in real time. Yeah. Because I remember distinctly being hated on because I was Korean. And I came from Korea. You were born here.
I was born here.
But I came from Korea when I was 8, not speaking a word of English.
That's a tough age.
And get thrown into school, was going back and forth from ESL to regular. And when I would come back from ESL, I remember, and I didn't know English that well, but I remember distinctly some girl yelling at me, "Ugh, that Korean bitch." And I was like in 3rd grade. Yeah. And I didn't know the word bitch. Yep. But I knew the word Korean, and I was like, but it sounds bad.
Sounds bad. The way she said it.
Yeah.
Right?
And to now having like Korea booze.
You talk about that a lot. Yeah.
Korea booze?
Uh-huh.
Did you hear that there are white girls that go to like H Mart and just like will try to hit up on an Asian guy, but the Asian guy isn't Korean, and he'll be like, "What? I'm Vietnamese, bro." Can you imagine that if that really happened?
Yeah,
you could see it. I think it's true. It's not like this.
I guess I could see it.
Yeah.
I've been watching that show Exo Kitty.
Oh, I can't. I
take it like one episode at a time.
Every preview I've seen that show makes me want to see it less. Like, it's so the cringe factor is so high for me. I think it's because I watched To All the Boys I've Left, and she was literally a child.
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm supposed to watch. Am I old? I'm too old.
No, I think it's very. I watch it because the experience of watching that on screen is so, strange, new, novel.
Yeah.
It's like worlds colliding. It's like, It's not a Korean drama, but that's what I've grown up watching.
Right.
But it's like a American sitcom, but it
looks
takes place
like
in Korea.
Cobra Kai version of a Korean drama.
Maybe. And they interchange between Korean and English.
Yeah.
And many of the actors do that so effortlessly and flawlessly. And so it's like the constant code switching that my mind is doing as a viewer.
Yeah.
And then I think the cultural clashes.
Yeah. And the
American
concept that this is a Korean American show.
Yes. But I talk about the Korea Boo thing because it takes place at an international school in
that's
Korea.
Right.
And there are some Americans who are there, and I'm just curious about their backstories. Like,
it reminds me of I didn't even watch the show, but Emily in Paris.
Yes.
I did a series called Emily in Korea.
You did. Great series.
And so it feels wrong for me to watch that show after I gave so much shit. People would write to me, be like, and did you know that I did a meal in Malaysia?
When was it?
There was a white man in Malaysia acting like he was like king of the world because
he's in Malaysia.
Yeah. And his name was, I don't know that his name was Emil.
Emil, like Emily, but the male version?
But I think I called him that. I don't think that was his real name. I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
You did that as a play.
My own,
yeah.
That was so yeah. It kind of I want to support it. That's a torn feeling.
And that's so much. I think still I'm in that space.
You want to support it.
I will consume, or I will purchase, or I will support to support it.
Yeah, because you don't get enough. Like, in order for it to get better, you have to support it.
Exactly.
And I know I have to, but oh my God, the cringe.
I know.
The cringe.
So that's what I said to my husband the other day, because it was a show that we started watching together, and then he kind of fell off of it. So
he couldn't handle it anymore.
I guess it's not like when we sit down to watch, like that time is so precious.
Yeah.
We have 1 hour, 45 minutes maybe before we start to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So it's like, it better be something good.
I know.
So we don't want to watch that show. However,
So what did you end up? Now
so I
what
will
is,
watch it when he is
So what's
gone.
your together show now?
Our together show. We're watching Bloodhounds right now.
Is that Korean?
Oh yes.
Oh,
Limited series
the one
on
with
Netflix.
the political.
No, it's about loan sharks. It's about yes. So you know how
I don't know if I can watch that. That would be triggering.
it's a lot of fighting. Good fighting.
Loan sharks in Korea are so real.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that my birth mom in Korea, got loan sharked, and her parents were just farmers in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The loan sharks took all her land, all her parents' land, and they were deprived of everything they ever owned. And my mom went to jail for bankrupting. And apparently I went to jail as a baby.
She took you.
Yeah. I have street cred.
Oh my god.
I was in jail. Like, I should be a rapper. And rap in Korean. 감옥갔다 살아왔다.
We have to do like a karaoke episode one day. I
Okay.
guess. Yeah. Let's talk about like what we envision this podcast to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's hard to encompass it. I mean, you know, your husband, when he prompted ChatGPT, I thought he said it very well. But
I know. He wrote a whole freaking
he really understands.
I was like, oh my God.
The vision here.
This is how I mean my husband supports me.
Yeah.
He
It's in the quiet ways, I think, right?
Yeah. I'm definitely in the loud way. You know how sometimes you and I were talking about our husbands and you'll be like, oh, you know, men can just be better in being supportive and like doing the little things, like, you know, take care of yourself,
seeing the little
put
things.
your stuff away. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. I'm the man. I'm the one.
I wonder what kind of marriage we would have.
You and me?
Yeah.
We would get divorced.
You think so? Do you think so?
You and me as a marriage?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so bad. I'm a horrible human to live with. So I will take off my socks and just throw it. And my husband will be like, there's a place for it. It's called a laundry basket. I'm like, I'm the man. I know it's horrible.
Yeah.
I hate to be this gender specific. You would hate me. I would never marry you.
Okay, then.
In a loving way.
Yeah.
I want you to love me, but not.
And marriage would be
marriage would end us.
Okay.
That's how good our friendship is.
Your husband is a
saint.
Yeah.
He's a saint. I am like the heathen from the Netherlands of hell. He really. I am the worst. And I know it. But I always say, you only seem like a saint because your gender sucks so bad. So I always put him in his place.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have to unpack that maybe in a later episode.
Yeah. Definitely a lot too. But sorry, you summarize what we're about.
Well, I mean, I was saying like he summarized that so well for the vision for this podcast is to talk about our experience, you know, various experiences as Korean American women, as mothers living here in the Northwest. And then also, I think we have varied experiences.
Yeah, I put it to you more like, oh, we're like the duo, like Pinky and the Brain. Oh. I'm Pinky, your brain. See, my husband, yeah, he's so much better in ways. And I was thinking more like duos, but yeah.
We would love to invite you guys to email us, send in questions. We would love to chat about just various.
We want to
various topics. Yep,
and we will reply to you.
Yep.
응답하라 여친, reply YC.
And should we say what Yeochin is?
That's important. So 응답하라 is reply. And we should talk about what we actually settled on. Our name.
After all the mediocre suggestions that ChatGPT gave us. I will say what it helped. One merit of ChatGPT is that it got our wheels spinning. Is like
that's what
we
it's
can
good
do this
for.
Better, right? It gives us a starting out point and say we can think of something better. You thought of Yeochin.
Yes, I
which
thought of
I
Yeochin,
thought was
because it's the
great.
essence of who we are, which is 여자친구, like 여자 is girl, woman. 친구 is friend, and the slang Korean lately is to shorten it. 남친, like my boyfriend, 남자친구. My boyfriend short to like my BF.
Yes.
So
and this can be
여친,
both romantic and platonic.
So 여친 is my girlfriend that's a girl. So shortened version, like it's like saying my GF, my girlfriend. So yeah, reply. And when I think of you, we have had like serious, like outside of this, we're friends.
Yes.
And I don't think that we could have even agreed to do this had we not formed. We met on TikTok, but we formed a real bond with our friendship and even our families.
Yes.
And like, I loved you more when I met your husband, actually.
It makes you, because you see the whole person.
Yeah, and your kids. Of course, your kids. But the fact that your husband could outdrink me was so fucking impressive.
Okay.
You know, with Koreans, that is a huge... It's so bad, if you think about it. Why is it so
I worry about
impressive
both
to be
you
alcoholic?
and him.
Yeah, okay.
I'm because it's people who are not aware of just
We're very
how far they can
functional
go.
alcoholics.
I know. I say this to him all the time. It's
He's
like, you
so
need to...
good. Well, so we had a dinner party, and
Yeah.
Samhyun was there. And he was there, and me was there, and the three of us are drinkers, so we're all like taking shots. And literally, Sam came up to me afterwards, and he's like, "That man keeps drinking, but he doesn't change. He just keeps steadfast." I'm like, "I know, he's steady Eddie."
It's not
And
something to
meanwhile, I'm
aspire
like,
to.
"Oh my God, I'm getting drunk," and he's just like, "Have another." And any other culture, I mean, well, I don't know, maybe not any other culture, but a lot of cultures would be like, "What is happening?"
Right.
But we were like, "Wow!"
Yeah.
최고야! Like, you're the best.
And I get uncomfortable when I'm tasked with bringing the alcohol because I have no gauge of how, is this going to be enough? Is it too
Not
little?
for your
And
man.
that wasn't enough what I brought.
Not for your
No.
man and me and Sam. It was a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not alcoholics. We aren't.
I balanced you out.
Yes,
right?
yes, our
Yeah.
sane people, exactly.
Mhm.
So my husband's not much of a drinker. You're not much of a drinker. This is why you have to find your other half that
Yes.
keeps you sane.
Yes. Yeah.
That's an important message. We're so deep.
And we want this to be deep at times.
Yes.
Lots of good laughs.
Yes.
And then
I'm glad we didn't cry today. We can
Yeah.
save the tears for another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get there somehow, but like, let's start out happy.
Yeah. That sounds
and
good.
then get depressed later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
Sounds
should
good.
do the sign out.
Okay. 응답하라.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
응답하라
응답하라 여친. Go to the 은 to the 실.
박 to the kyung to the Jew.